everyone, it's Tracy from salontraining.com. We are talking today with a beautiful woman that I met at the Ohio Hair's premiere show. And I am very excited to talk with her because there's so much need for us to get involved in different communities that help support women in the industry and also people going through cancer and just anybody actually that's going through a hard time. So men, women, everything. So I want to talk to you today and make sure that I have all the right information up here. And then I'm going to have you introduce yourself, Mary. But we're talking with Mary Jenkins from Hairstyles and Beauty for Hope. And I'm going to have you answer really quick. Who are you? Let's just start with that. How did you start in the beauty industry?
Who am I? So I actually became connected to the beauty industry as a result of being a cancer survivor. So I was diagnosed with stage 3, almost stage 4 breast cancer. And while I was going through treatment, I got laid off work, needed help to pay some bills, couldn't find it. And so I created the organization called Cancer Option Collaborative to be the answer to help people. And on the journey, it was like, how can we get more people involved in what we're doing? And I met a gentleman by the name of Chris Burke, who is a barber. He's actually a licensed cosmetologist and barber. And he and I met, and he was like, help me understand the magnitude of what you're doing. And I explained to him that everybody in the industry knows someone that's battled cancer. And he was like, true. He said, but how do you fit in? And I said, well, when people lose their hair, they want to look beautiful, and we'll cover the cost to be able to get a new unit made. Or while they're going through treatment, if they need help paying bills, we're the ones that will raise the money to pay the bills. And he was like, oh my God, there's some people that you need to meet. And so he introduced me to a gentleman by the name of Curtis Smith, who was actually one of the guest judges, exhibitors at the Bronner Brothers show. And I went down there and I had the chance to meet some incredible people, not knowing that that would be the start of Hairstyles and Beauty for Hope. Because like I said, everybody knows somebody that has diagnosed cancer. Either they're battling cancer, they had battled cancer, they have a child that battled cancer, they have a loved one that battled cancer. Everyone in the industry knows someone. And so we partnered with the industry, and it just made sense to partner with the entire industry. So the barber, stylist, makeup artists, nail techs, you name it, estheticians, we love them all. And we raise money to help people that have cancer pay their bills.
That's amazing. How long ago did you say that was that you started that?
11. So the organization is called Cancer Option Collaborative, and it is 19 years old. Hairstyles and Beauty for Hope, which is our fundraising campaign partnership with the industry, is 11 years old.
Okay. And, sometimes people I talk with, they say, you just don't know which organizations to believe anymore. You don't know which ones are real and stuff. I mean, we've heard about you and we see you at the different shows and everything. And then I'm standing there and I talk with people. They're like, you helped us, blah, blah, blah. So I hear it. How can you touch on that for the audience of like, how do you really know that this is a great organization, and how do you know where it's trustworthy, which we know, but.
So like I said, I'll start with Cancer Option Collaborative. When I started the organization, it was not intentional. I didn't mean to start it. All I knew is that I was battling cancer and I had a need that was unmet. And so I went searching, trying to find an organization to meet that need. I couldn't find someone, so I turned to my church, and my church stepped in to meet my need. But my thought was, I know I'm not the only one that needs help. So we got to find somebody that can lead the charge to help people. And my pastor said, why not you? And I was like, not me. Who am I? I'm just a regular everyday person that I see a need. And he's like, just tell people. And so I started telling people about the organization. And they were like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. We usually give to St. Jude, or we give to the American Cancer Society, or we give to the Komen Foundation, or the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. We give to those places. And I'm like, that's great, but they don't exactly use their money to help people in the way that we do. They will give gas cards, which are great, but how can you use a gas card to get back and forth to treatment if you haven't had money to pay the car note, so you're not driving the car because you're afraid the car is going to get repossessed? So we step in at a whole different space, and people were like, oh my, are you guys a 501c3? Yes, we're 501. We went through the steps to become legitimate, because we didn't want people to think, she's just out there getting money. Yeah. So we had to go through the process, and in going through the process, When we started, we were only helping breast cancer patients because that's what I had, that's what I knew. But then we got a referral from a local hospital of a woman that needed $150 or her car was going to get repossessed. Easy fix. We had the money, not a problem. So we had her come to the office so that way she can, fill out the application. And when she was asked what type of breast cancer she said she had cervical cancer. And I said to her, I'm so sorry. You had the wrong type of cancer. We can't help you. Right. That look, that's the same look I had. And every time I say it, I still have that look. But I said that and it was like, oh my God, I just told this woman she's got the wrong type of cancer to get help. That does not make sense. So we changed our mission to include all cancers. And it was like, oh my. So of course, the other well-known cancer organizations found out and started referring people. And so they referred people from New York and Georgia and Michigan and Texas and California. And next thing you know, we were national. And like, how did this happen? And then we started getting applications from Canada and Mexico and Johannesburg, South Africa, and Ghana and Germany and different places. We're like, oh my God, now how do we become international? So we actually, in our first 4 months, we were national. And in our first year, we were international.
Wow.
And our focus, the thing that makes us different from every other cancer organization out there is that we are focused on bringing together resources to help people pay bills. We're not funding cancer research. We're not hosting support groups. We're not doing that. Because I believe, and this is just me, I believe that some of the people that are in the support groups are stressed out because they don't have any help paying the bills that they need help paying. So rather than pay a therapist money to become and do their therapy stuff, how about we just find out who needs help? Have them go through the process of providing us with all their information. So we take them through a process of, we need to know their name, their address, complete address, their date of diagnosis, what the official diagnosis is, who their treating physician is. They provide us with contact information for the treating physician. And then they give us permission to ask. And so we have all the information to verify if they are in active treatment. When the doctors say yes, it's yes. If the doctors say no, it's no. We do not determine that. And the part of the reason we don't is because if I could help everybody, I would want to. Yeah. So we do that. Then once they provide that information and we get the verification that they are in active treatment, we then verify the amount of their request. Because sometimes people think they need more than what they really need. Their gas bill might be $700 and they're facing disconnection. But there's a utility program where they can pay $175 and prevent the eviction or prevent the disconnection. So we go through the process of really looking to find out what it is that the person needs versus telling them, well, we can help you with utilities up to $100 or we can help you with housing up to $500. Because if the person's rent or their mortgage is $900, they need $900. $500 isn't going to help. So we focus on finding out what it is the person needs and then raising the money to actually provide those services. And we don't give people money. We actually pay the bill.
Oh, that's
yeah, that's a comfort, because I even said when I first got diagnosed, and I said, if somebody had given me a check for say $1,000 and said, Mary, pay your electric, your gas, your water, your car note, I probably would have taken that check and deposited it, ordered pizza for my kids at the grocery store, filled the tank up with gas. There would have been other things that I probably would have did just to try to be normal before paying the bills. But then I would have tried to figure out what lie I would have had to tell of how come I wasn't paying the bill. And so we wanted to keep people from not putting them in that position. So we're like, we'll just pay the bill. And then that way we'll let them know, hey, we paid your electric bill. Hey, we paid your gas bill. Hey, we paid, we were able to get your landlord to waive all those extra fees that they were charging. And we paid your rent, or we paid your mortgage, or there's so much that we do. We've done car repairs, you name it, we've done it.
Wow. If you don't go through it, you don't understand it, right? So
Correct.
I am very fortunate and blessed that we have not, had to go through that intense, but we went through something else. My daughter had Lyme disease whenever she was younger, and we had $10,000 in out of pocket expensive.
Oh my goodness.
And we had insurance. So like it was insane. And we kept getting into our savings to pay this off and pay this off. And then one thing leads to another, and then it just skyrockets. And you're just like, where's all this money coming from? So I remember that feeling of like, oh my goodness, I'm draining everything. And that's
Yeah,
even a
that's
small
what I went through.
portion. Yes,
Yeah.
right?
Because I mean, I had insurance to cover the medical bills, but it wasn't the medical bills that was the problem. It was the fact that I had got laid off work. And now I'm like, okay, well, now I still got to pay my house note, which was $1,700 a month. It's like, okay. And I went through all of my savings so quickly because, you know, my family at the time, we weren't struggling. I was a single parent. Yes, my husband had died on active duty. And so I was receiving military pension. And between working a full-time job and the military pension, we were living a very nice life. I had money in savings, but then when this happened, and it was like, oh man. And then when I got laid off, I'm like, oh, well, okay, I can just go to the Komen Foundation because Komen Foundation, pink is everywhere. October, you see it all the time. The race for the cures and all those. Okay, I have breast cancer. I'm sure I can go to them and get help. And so I actually got trained to be a speaker for the Komen Foundation, and I helped them raise money. And then when the time came that I needed help, that's when I learned that the money that I was helping them raise wasn't really going to help people that had cancer in the way in which I needed help. It was going to fund cancer awareness and gas cards and treatment related stuff. And I was like, well, what about this? What about it? And that was an eye opener for me. But it actually is the reason that I started the organization, because the Komen Foundation doesn't do it.
Wow.
And I had no idea.
And there's something in the background noise in there. Sorry, can you hear that?
No.
Okay, I'm not sure what it was. Okay, so it does. I mean, there's a need for what they do, cancer awareness. There's a need for the gas cards. There's a need to help with medical bills. But you're right. There's such a need for just living day to day and getting by and getting through it. Right. So I'm so glad that you did that. How many people do you have an average of how many people you've helped so far?
Oh my God. We've been doing this 19 years, and it's been hundreds of thousands of people, because there's different needs there's different things that people need. Someone might need, I need someone that can come to a treatment with me. Okay, we'll find somebody that can come with you. I might need a wig. Okay, we'll find someone that can make you a custom unit. Okay, I can pay my bills, but I just need just in case. Okay. My mom lives in another state, and I live in this state, and my mom is going through treatment, and she's by herself. And, I don't have the money to cover an airline ticket to get back and forth. We can cover an airline ticket. We can do these things. We can make these things happen. And it's the little things, and it happens all the time. And so we get referrals. Whew, we probably get anywhere from 10 to 15 referrals a week.
Wow.
And so we always have a waiting list. Always. Always. Our waiting list never goes away, because we don't work with just women. We work with men, women, and parents of children. Because when I didn't, at the beginning, I never even thought about children battling cancer. You have a child that gets diagnosed with cancer. Mom and dad want to be at the hospital with their child, but somebody's got to go to work because bills still have to get paid. And mom and dad shouldn't have to decide whether or not to be at the hospital with their child, or who's going to be at the hospital with the child, because the stress level is through the roof. And so knowing that children get diagnosed, it was like, oh my. And so we started helping children many, many years ago. And then in 2016, St. Jude reached out to us, because they realized that, yes, they're raising money so that children can be treated at no cost. But they realize that when families are there and staying at the Ronald McDonald House, if the parents don't have, or the families don't have help paying their bills at home, when they go home, it's chaotic. And so they started referring families to us. We're like, wow, you're St. Jude. You raise millions. And you want little old us to help you? Okay, great. Can we work together to fundraise? Because for us, it all comes down to the donations. And they said no. Because the money that they raise goes to help fund the expenses of the hospital, which include the treatment of the kids, which I understand. But I'm like, so you want to send us your families when they have need? and have us raise the money to help them. When you guys get millions. I mean, that's always in the back of my head. They get millions. They get millions. You know, I get on the, you know, how much do does that group's CEO and other executives, how much do they make? You know, versus me, who, you know,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, I have to say I'm not in all that, so I'm not gonna, but I love the fact of what you do and the education that you provide and all of the services that you provide for everybody. What a wonderful thing that you're doing. And they always say if you go through something really hard, it's your mess that is your new message, right? I hear that often
yes,
from people. And
yes,
some people, bury themselves under a rock, and some people like you make others, oh, I'm touched right now. And the reason too is when you said about children, I actually had a really good friend of ours that their daughter was, I believe, 2 or 3 when she was diagnosed with cancer. She's now in remission. But it was a very hard battle watching that. And
mm-hmm.
they would post stories a lot on social media, and they're very private, but they became unprivate to help other people to see what they were going through. And they showed their daughter struggling in the hospital bed. They showed, and then they would say, like, same thing you just said, someone's leaving work and leaving work and leaving work to be with their daughter, and then it piles up. So God bless you. I mean, you
Thank you.
you definitely are
Thank you. We're
blessing
like, if
others.
we can give a little ray of hope, just
Yes.
in the midst of everything that's going on. We may not be able to cover every single bill, but if we can, even if it's, we pray for you, you know, the person to have prayer, just to know that there's somebody out there that's praying for them and what they're going through. That does so much for so many people as well.
That's amazing. Okay, well, I am going to share my screen here in just a moment because you guys are going to be at the Pennsylvania Beauty Pros Expo this May, right?
Yes.
All right. And then let's talk real quick how I'm sure that they can donate while they're there, but they can donate ahead of time. So you're going to be having a link for them to go on. And how can they do this? And why is it so important for hairdressers though? I mean, I know personally, like we talk to people all the time. What's your opinion on why we should step up as stylists for our clients?
So, and I go one step for the whole industry. Like I said, we have relationships with the entire industry because everybody comes in contact with someone that is battling cancer. And so when especially like the barbers and the stylists, you know, we hear about the big chop. That is an emotional period. And to have someone that's going through, or a woman gets diagnosed with breast cancer or any other type of cancer, and she starts chemotherapy and her hair starts to come out. There is a way to engage with the people that are in that space, so that way they don't feel less than. I mean, I love to share with people, because I tell people I didn't realize how cute I was until I saw myself bald headed. And I really didn't. And it's like there's a whole different kind of strength that comes out when you see yourself that way, when you see yourself in your most vulnerable way. And so I've had cancer twice. And, you know, for me, the first time they removed my right breast, the second time they removed my left breast. And it's like, oh, so I've been bald headed twice. And I'm, you know, so it's like, I'm not as overly attached to hair as I once was, but I'm stronger because now I can equip others that may be going through it to help them understand, you know, if you're going through cancer diagnosis, you may lose your hair. You may, but there's something that we can do. We can connect you with someone that can create a custom unit for you, that can talk to you while you're going through, that's been through what you've been through. We can help you learn how to put your makeup on. You can be cute. And we want people to understand it so that we infuse you are cute in spite of. And that is a huge, huge deal.
Yes. We talk a lot about. Oops. Do you hear that now?
Now I did. Yes.
Okay, I don't know where it's coming from. All right. So we talk about this a lot in our groups is there's so many stylists out there and beauty professionals that take another haircutting class and take another nail class and take another coloring class, which is needed and it's exciting and it's beautiful. However, some of the things like this are missed. Taking a class on hair loss is or how to talk with your clients that are going through cancer, I think is equally, if not more important than knowing a new technique. Because when we're really serving our guests, we're serving all of our guests, right? You just said
Right.
makeup, skin,
Right.
hair, but also emotions. We know that. We
Correct.
absolutely know that people talk to us more than probably anybody else, they say, you know? Um, so I think it's great that you guys are in the beauty industry talking with us, because we are the first people that sometimes they talk to about this that's going on. So what is the code going to be? We talked about it right before we
Yes. So it's going to so so the organization is donation funded. We have two corporate sponsors, but we're mainly donation funded. And we encourage everybody, because we're like, if everybody contributes a little bit, it'll end up being a lot. And so the industry is huge. We're like, if everybody just does their little part. And so for the show, being the Pennsylvania show, now it's the whole acronym and everything, we're going to set up, it's text to give. And it's so you can text, P is in Pennsylvania, A is, well, PA, short for Pennsylvania, and then show. So PA show, text that together, no space, to 707070. And that will be in effect later on today.
Awesome.
And we're going to get that set up. So that way, people, if they say, you know what, I want to support, but I can't make it to the show, they can make a donation that way. And we want them to come to the show, and they can text to give as well. Our highlight, this is the highlight. Okay, this is the highlight. The highlight for us is we'll be bringing a custom banner to the show, and everyone that makes a donation will be able to sign that banner. So that way, when at the end of the show, it will be full of signatures, and you will be able to see how many people supported the charity at your show. And that will be our gift to you.
That's amazing. I love that. And wow, you guys get a lot of people signing those every time that I see you guys. So that's fabulous. Great.
Yes. Yes. And we love it that it's important for us to build relationship with the different shows. So that way we can say, hey, last year, you see what you guys did last year? Look at this year. And so we've had the privilege of being the show charity for your Bronner Brothers, for your IBS, your ABS, your all of the 4 of the premier shows and other shows. We've had the privilege of being the charity. So that way they see every year and they know it's like, oh my God, more people are supporting. And then they get to see the work that we do as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I am honored that you guys are being at the PA show too. And I hope that anybody that's there can definitely stop by their booth, give a donation. And like you said, it doesn't have to be crazy amounts. I mean, it can if you have it, but if every single one of us stops by your booth and just donates something, it adds up. So please do that. You have no idea who you're going to be helping. You can be helping my friend that had a little child. You could be helping your friend. You can be helping your client. You have no idea one day where that money is going to end up. So please stop by their booth.
Right.
Also, like she said, is text right now 707070 PA show, all one word. Did you say it had to be capitalized or not capitalized? Does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. I am just going to share my screen for those of you that are joining us to see where to get tickets to the show. I'm going to share my screen now, Mary. Let's go right here. Okay, can you see that?
I don't see it.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
There it is.
So right now, if you go to the homepage of salontraining.com, which is a beauty industry directory for all beauty professionals to go in to find the shows, to find trainers, to find education, to find jobs. If you stop over here, we're doing our star rewards. So what that is going to be at this show, there's going to be 3 competitions this year. There's going to be color, cutting, nails, and then right here is where you're going to get tickets. So all you have to do is go to get tickets to the PA show right here. If you guys have groups of 15 or more, I know there's a lot of schools that go, you can go ahead and do this, and then we'll just send you an invoice. If you are a trainer that's listening to this, we are pretty much at max for our trainers. I keep getting calls and texts here in the last couple of days. Feel free to put this in, because if it is something that we don't have yet, we might be able to put you in. And vendor applications, we have a couple spaces left, but not much. And that's basically it. And then I'm going to stop I'm sorry. Let me just show one more thing too. If you go up here to education and in-person classes, you'll see a lot of the classes that are here at the PA show. Not all of them are on here yet. So if you go on and don't see yours, if you're a trainer listening, don't panic. We're getting yours on. I've heard quite a few people say that recently, like, where's mine? It takes us a while to upload everything. So you're just going to come here. If you're looking for business classes at the show, cutting, hair loss is a great one, marketing, lashes, you can search all through here and then you'll be able to see almost all of these classes right now are from the PA show. We have over 100 some different classes. And then you can go in, let's see, let me go out of this for a minute. You can go on and, like I said, inside, sorry, I got sidetracked because I was going to say something else, but I'm going to pause on that. But if you go into get tickets, you can actually see all the different trainers that are going to be there in the classes and different thing like that. But I will stop rambling because I'm going to let you go. I'm going to stop my share. I could talk about the show all day long, so I know I'm going to be doing another live.
Believe me, I understand how that is. When I get, when we do our show and I start talking about it, it's like, oh my goodness, because there's so much there's so much opportunity. But I do want to include, I did notice that the show is giving back also to PBA because of the fires in California, and I think that is fantastic, as well as hurricane, or the wind would have the other one, Helene, and I think that is wonderful for the show. I recommend that people support shows that give back, and I love the ones that include us, but sometimes there's shows that don't include us, but they include other amazing organizations, and the fact that you are also partnering with PBA is a blessing as well, because what they're doing, because one of our corporate sponsors is providing $50,000 of color Duomo. They're providing support as well to those stylists that have lost product and all these things out there. So I wanted to commend you.
Who is doing, what color line did you say is doing that?
Duomo.
Okay.
Duomo. Their website is duomopro.com. They're the ones that, because their program, I would tell you, this is a secret. So this is their secret. What they've done is, for anybody that makes a donation through them, they're also going to match them dollar for dollar for the amount of the donation.
Wow.
So if you make a donation for $50, then they're going to give you a credit of $50 towards the next purchase product.
That's awesome. I love partnering with people that, like you said, they give back to. I am big on that. So that is great. Is that a secret we're allowed to share, or do we have to
you can share it
out?
For theirs, it's the word Duomo, Duomo. Text Duomo to the number 707070, and they'll get a link, and they'll just go through and make the donation, and then Duomo contacts them and make certain that they get the credit for them.
I'm glad you brought up the PBA. I do want to say something super quick before we end. So the PBA, I've been in the industry for a really long time, 30 plus years or whatever. And I recently just got into the PBA. I've heard people talk about it, but I really didn't know what it was and I didn't understand it. I've heard of it, like you're just busy and you keep going through life. And I finally was like, hey, what is this PBA? What do they do? Because again, I'm trying to support people that are supporting others as well. And I actually ran into a stylist that was helped recently. She had the floods in North Carolina. We were at an event together, and I said, oh, so, you did. And do you know anything about the PBA? She goes, yes, they helped me. And I'm like, how did they help you? I really want to find out more about this. She goes, yes, they sent us a check and it helps us get it back on our feet. The money goes to where they say it is. And she was a recipient. And I was like, that was so nice to hear. So for those of you that don't know what PBA Disaster Relief Fund is, just like Mary said, they take the donations and they give the donations to people that are in our beauty industry, that are hairdressers and stylists and makeup artists, estheticians that are struggling. And so right now, the big one is the North Carolina floods and also the California fires. So please donate to the PBA if you can. And if you purchase a ticket to the hair show, this month, we are going to give $5 from every ticket sale to them. So please spread the word. Even if you can't go to the show, please spread the word, because there's going to be more people that are going to hear about it and maybe be able to donate more money to them as well. So, all right. Well, thank you. I hope you have a great afternoon, Mary.
You are very, very welcome. And thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Great. I'll see you in May.
I'll see you in May.
See ya.